my loves, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go ahead and do so. And don't forget to press that notification bell so you could get weekly updates on all of my delicious recipes. Please don't forget to like and don't forget to share. Let everybody, your friends, your neighbors know that Jackie's cooking. Baby, we making some cinnamon rolls today. You hear me? Yes, indeed. Christmas is right around the corner, and I know you want to wake up to a Christmas morning with a cup of coffee, cup of cocoa, cup of mojo, cup of tea, whatever, to have with these delicious cinnamon rolls. And there ain't nothing better than the smell of baked cinnamon rolls in the morning. Ain't that beautiful? But we have our ingredients here, and I'm going to show you how to make mine, okay? So here we have some all-purpose flour. We have some white sugar. We have some active dry yeast. We have some brown sugar. It could be light or dark, whatever tickles your fancy. We have some cinnamon, of course. We have some butter. We have some cream cheese. And guys, I was going to make this cream cheese frosting, but you're going to see what I'm going to do. I thought I had some confection sugar, but I didn't, and I ain't going out to get none, so I'm using this tub of icing. We have some flavoring here. Okay, we have some eggs. We have salt. And we have whole milk. Okay, so we are going to put this baby together. Let's get to it. All right, guys, so I'm going to warm up my milk, okay? You're not boiling your milk. You're not doing anything. You just want to warm up your milk, okay? And I'm putting the butter in there so it could just melt in that nice warm milk, okay? And then after that, we're going to take it and put it right to the side, okay? And we are now going to proof our yeast. Now, usually people put the whole yeast into the milk. I'm doing this separately because, guys, I've had this happen twice to me where I put the yeast in the milk and the yeast wasn't good, and it would, the expiration didn't, it didn't expire. So I don't want to make that mistake again. So I'm just taking some of that milk and putting it in with some yeast and sugar, which is going to help it proof, okay, just to make sure everything's okay, because that's not a cute feeling to mess up the whole thing of milk, okay, when you could test it in a little smaller volume, okay? Okay, my love, so we are going to take our melted ingredients and we are going to put it in our mixer. This can be done by hand. Okay, this can be done by hand. Okay, I'm just doing it with the mixer because it saves time and because I'm lazy. Okay, ever since I got this mixer, it's my go-to. Okay, so now here is our proofed yeast, as you can see. Okay, again, if you want to put all the yeast in your milk, go ahead. I just did that just to be on the safe side because I've had it happen to me a couple of times. Okay, so now we're putting that in there. So guys, you're gonna mix all your wet ingredients. I'm just throwing everything in because the mixer is doing the work for me, but you could add beat your eggs slightly, add your eggs, add your milk, your butter, all the melted ingredients like the milk butter mixture, then add your beaten eggs, your yeast mixture, okay? Then after that, you can start adding the dry ingredients and do it by hand, okay? And you'll just knead it for about a good 5 minutes by hand, if not 10 minutes by hand, okay? This dough will be tacky, not sticky, but tacky, because this dough I'm making is a rich, buttery kind of dough. It has eggs, it's, butter. So now we're adding our sugar. I've added my flour, okay, adding my salt. And I'm doing it like this, my loves, because again, This mixer, my beautiful KitchenAid here, is doing the job for me. All right. And my loves, the ingredients are listed in the description box below. Okay. 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 So I'm adding I'm adding the sugar now. Usually I have a certain way that I do it, to be orderly, but since I'm dumping everything in here, I didn't even waste my time doing everything orderly, but either or, the whole point is everything's going to be incorporated. Having a KitchenAid, it took me a minute to get one of these. But I am so happy that I have it, and it really does save time, and it allows you to do certain things that you would do by hand slightly different, if you know what I'm saying. Like, if I was doing this by hand, I would add the eggs along with the wet mixture, which we're going to add right about now. Okay, but because I'm doing it here, it doesn't matter. But if I was doing it by hand, I would add the eggs along with the milk, melted butter, and stuff. Then I would add my dry ingredients. Okay, so we are going to knead that with our stand mixer here. And I'm looking for the dough to somewhat slightly pull away from the glass, okay? Because you see, this dough is going to be tacky, not sticky, but tacky. And because this is a rich dough with the butter and the eggs, it's it's going to feel like kind of like putty. You ever had played with those things called what is it called, silly putty? Kind of that texture, you see? But it's not sticky, it's tacky. You see what I'm saying? And this is what we're looking for. So we're gonna take it out, because as you can see, it was slightly pulling away from, I don't know if you saw it, but it was slightly pulling away from the wall, from the glass. Now I'm adding some oil. I'm gonna use this same bowl that I mixed in. I didn't even waste my time washing it for what? Because it was the dough in there. So I'm just gonna add some oil in there, and that's gonna allow it to go along the sides when it's proofing. Okay. And this is what you're looking for. It's this kind of texture, right? It's like that. It's like silly putty. You see it? Okay, so that's what I mean by tacky. So I'm going to put that in a bowl. Then after that, I'm going to turn it upside down because I want the face to get oil. I want the whole thing to get oiled, and I'm going to leave it in there for about an hour and 40. Depends on how warm your home is. Mine took about an hour and 45 minutes. Okay, so cover it and let it be. Draft-free place. Okay, so in the meantime, my loves, I'm going to show you how to make the icing. This is a cream cheese icing. I thought I had confectioner's sugar to make this, but I didn't. So luckily I had a tub of already made icing. Guys, I remember when I was young, those icings were not that sweet. I don't know. But I'm just going to combine this, being creative, combine this with a softened cream cheese and a little bit of warm milk. You don't have to do this. You could just take confectioner's sugar, mix it with some milk, and drizzle it. It's not that deep. I mean, it's deep if you want it to be cream cheese. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me, but this was my alternative because I didn't have confectioner's sugar, and these tubs are really sweet frostings. They're really, really sweet. So by putting the cream cheese in there, it was still sweet, but not as sweet. Okay, so this is an alternative. Okay. And my loves, please make sure that in order to do this, make sure that your cream cheese is at room temperature. Okay, make sure it's at room temperature, because if you're mixing this together, you're going to have lumps in there and lumps and bumps in there. We don't want that. So make sure that your cream cheese is nice and soft, nice and soft at room temperature. Okay, so now I'm just going to add a little warm milk in there just to help thin it out. Even though you don't necessarily have to, but I just want to make, loosen up that icing a little bit because we're going to spread it on anyway. Okay, so, but this was a pretty decent alternative, if you don't want all that sugar and all that tuluntu, simple confectioner's sugar with some of this, or you can melt some butter, add some confectioner's sugar and a little milk and do it like that. So, there's so many ways you could do that. So we just add a little milk. And sometimes people will just take the cans of icing, pop it in the microwave a little bit, and just pour it like that. So, there's quite a few ways you can make your icing, okay, if you don't prefer this one. Okay, now I'm adding a little flavoring, a little almond flavoring to this. Okay, and then I am going to add a little bit of salt, a pinch of salt, just to balance out that sweetness. Because I'm kind of happy that the cream cheese it took a little bit away of the sweetness. It did take a little bit, added its little tang to it, which was quite cute. Some of y'all may like it like that, some of y'all may not care for that. Okay, me, I'm just an old-fashioned girl. Now we're going to make our filling. I just like simple confection sugar with the milk and put it on top, But, my husband wanted that, so I said, all right, whatever. So, okay, so now we're going to make our filling, guys. I'm using some brown sugar. There's another way you could make this, but because I'm showing people how to make this, I didn't want to be complicated with this. But you could also make a paste with this, because we are going to smear butter on the dough itself. Then we're going to add this, but you could add your softened butter to your brown sugar and your cinnamon, mix it together, and it'll become like a paste. You see what I'm saying? All you got to do is just smear it on there if you want to do it like that too. But I'm going to show you the original way I'm going to do it. So this is our proof dough after an hour and 45 minutes. We're just going to punch that down, and I'm going to flour my surface. Try not to put too much flour, but just enough flour, because this dough is soft, very, very soft. It's a very rich, soft dough. Okay, so as you see, that is so soft. It is so soft, but that's what makes this so good. It's nice and soft and rich. Okay, and now what we're going to start doing, my loves, I'm going to add a little bit of flour on top. As you can see, I'm scooping the rest of that flour away, and I'm adding a little bit of flour on top, and I'm going to start rolling this. I'm going to roll this out to at least try like 9 by 13. You don't want to roll it out too thin now, but like a quarter of an inch thick, because you don't want it to be so thin that your filling will break through the dough. Okay? And my loves, if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. And don't forget to press that notification bell so you can get updates on all my recipes. Don't forget to like. Please give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to share, okay? Let everybody know about Jackie's cooking. All right, my loves? Okay, so now I'm going to add some nice soft butter on this. Okay, this is the original way, but if you don't want to, you can mix all that nice soft butter together with your cinnamon and your sugar and make a paste and spread it like that. Or you could do it like this, which is the original way. And I'm just doing this for the beginners, with this, so don't be intimidated with this, because it's very easy to make. Okay, so I'm just making sure I'm spreading that butter on there nicely, making sure all the corners are covered. And I'm speeding this up a little bit, guys, because I didn't want it to be long and boring. But as you can see, I'm spreading my filling on this dough here. Okay, I want to make sure this is nice and completely covered. Okay, and you're going to start rolling from the edges like this. You see how I'm doing it? Okay, you're going to roll it tight, okay? And try to keep it even. Now, as you can see what I'm going to do here, I'm kind of slightly tucking the ends in there. That's the way I do it, okay? And just roll. And if it's a little fat in the middle, guys, just, try to, pat it so it could be even. And then I'm just going to pinch it a little bit to make sure it's sealed. Okay, and now we are going to start cutting. No, actually, I'm going to butter a 9 by 13 inch pan. Okay, and this will prevent it from sticking. Okay, make sure we get all those corners, everything on here, or you could use non-stick spray too. Okay, now we are going to cut our dough in half. Okay, sometimes I've seen people use dental floss to do it. It'll give you a cleaner cut, but I ain't got no dental floss. I ain't doing all that. I ain't got it. So I'm using a knife. So, take your knife, cut it in half. Then you're going to cut those halves in half. And you could cut them into 3. You should be able to get 12 cinnamon rolls out of this recipe. Okay, so you're cutting it in half. Then you're going to cut both of the halves in half. Then you'll cut each 4 of the logs into 3s. Okay, so you should come out with 12. Okay? All right, so now we are going to take our rolls and we are going to put them into a pan. Leave a little space between them because these are going to grow. Okay, so just leave a little space in between the rolls. Okay, so when they puff, they have enough space to puff out. And we don't want to overproof this, so once you get this tucked in, you're going to lightly cover it. You're going to cover it with a cloth or something, and you're going to let it rise I let it rise for about 30 minutes, okay? And in 15 minutes before that, I preheated my oven to 350 degrees, okay? So this is going to rise for about 35 minutes, okay? Then we're going to put it in a preheated 350 degree oven. And here are our rolls. Okay. Now what you were looking for is going to slightly double half its size. That's the second proofing. Now what we're going to do here, my loves, we are going to add our nice icing on our beautiful cinnamon rolls. You do not have to add all of this. I like to add it a minute after it comes out of the oven because I want the icing to seep in between those cracks. I want it to seep in between those cracks, and I want it to definitely just get in there. I just want it to seep in between those cracks. While it's nice and warm, you could put as much icing on here as you want. Just make sure each of them get a nice dosage of that icing. I'm going to put the whole thing. You don't have to. You may not want that much icing, or you might want your icing to be a little thinner. Okay, but this is how I like it. Yes, indeed. Okay, and we're going to ensure that everything is well covered, because while it's nice and hot, that will allow the icing to seep into it. And this is going to be nice and gooey. Nice and gooey. I ain't playing. You see that? Don't that look so good? OMG. Yes, indeed. Just spread your icing on there. Get the middle, get the sides. We want that icing to drip everywhere. Okay? And now I'm going to add, this is optional, I'm only going to add some nuts on half of the rolls. Okay? I'm going to add some nuts on half of the rolls. You could do a lot of tuluntu, all that tuluntu. You could add chocolate chips. You could add peanut. I don't know, whatever you want. You want to add sprinkles. Christmas is coming. You know, and the kids will definitely love this. Have fun with it. Add sprinkles. I don't know. Just have fun with it. Look at that. Yes. OMG. With a nice cup of coffee, hot cocoa or tea or whatever. This is sure to be a pleaser. Okay, so let's do a little taste test. Okay, this came out so moist. And I will let you know this. It came out so moist. And not only is it so moist, but it is so fluffy. Look at that. With all that, it's a beautiful rich dough. As you can see, I think you'll definitely enjoy this. You know, oh my God, that is so beautiful. The sight and smell of cinnamon rolls. You know, I also have other ways I do cinnamon rolls. Sometimes I'll make apple cinnamon rolls. I'll make strawberry cinnamon rolls, berry cinnamon rolls. I have other versions too, but that'll come later in time. Okay, one thing at a time. Okay, so let's taste this baby right here. Look at that, so nice and soft. You see that? It's just so soft. OMG. Take that first bite, baby. Look at that. So good. You tasted that beautiful cinnamon. You tasted the nice sweetness. The dough is nice and fluffy, and it's nice and gooey. This is life. This is life. Just waking up to something like this is beautiful. You see the beautiful layers. Guys, it don't get better than this. It doesn't get any better than this. You hear me? Okay, I mean, delicious. I want you all to try this recipe. Leave me your comments, okay? And enjoy this. Enjoy this. Cook with heart, okay? And don't forget to give me a thumbs up and a love. And I want you to do 3 things. Eat, love, and pray. Till next time.